Good morning, guys. Welcome back. Welcome back to another trading session. Well, it is Tuesday. We are still in the beginning of the week. Yeah, yesterday we had a small trade, as you can see here, right at the New York AM session, but it didn't offer much, honestly. This back and forth action. Even New York PM session didn't deliver anything that we would like to engage with. I was expecting somehow a move towards the new week opening gap. It didn't happen, but it kind of happened after Asia. So Asia progressed to the upside. It came for the midpoint of this 4-hour imbalance, this 4-hour CB. It kind of rejected quite well here, and then we displaced lower towards the new week opening gap. And yeah, London closed with the Sunday open here. So it's kind of it's not a previous day low, but it's the Sunday open. Now we'll just mark this a little bit better. Sunday open. So yeah, at this point, price came a little bit through inside the NWOG. It came for the first quarter here at 25%, and now we are trying to do something. I'm not sure about my bias. Of course, if you look into the 4-hour, if you just look at in a higher time frame perspective here, you can see that we clearly respected this bearish fair value gap. Price came for its midpoint. It kind of displaced lower outside of this fair value gap, forming another 4-hour fair value gap. So honestly, what I would like to see is somehow a drive higher, and that could eventually be our manipulation, and then price moving lower towards the midpoint of this NWOG, or eventually towards previous week's low. That would be nice to see, but I'm not sure about it, because honestly we will have some news driver in between the lunch hours, so I will have to be very careful with any positions that we might take here, since we will have the Fed speaking at in the lunch hour. So 12, it's not 11, it's 12:20 that we will have the Fed speaking. So as you can see, bearish order flow is engaged here. Price is trying to react from this NWOG. I really would like to see some higher manipulation here, but yeah, so far it's still accumulating here, not doing anything that we would like to engage with. As you can see, these tops are quite clean here. If we took a look into NQ, we have somehow a similar behavior on NQ as well. So let's see if price will drive directly inside the NWOG, or if it will give us some sort of manipulation. At this point, we are in a deep discount since midnight open is still here on the upside. We are below 8:30 open as well. So yeah, let's give it some time and see how far price can take us. I will mark the 9:30 open as well. So 9:30 open, 8:30 open here, and we will have some news driver as well. Yeah, at 10:15, global financial stability report. So that might be interesting to see as well. So let me take a look at the regular trading session hours. So far, a big gap to the downside, as you can see. So the opening range gap here is still open. We still have some liquidity here to be purged. But yeah, price is kind of heavy right now. Let's see if it is in a rush to do something, or if this will be just a manipulation lower. I would like to see price coming a little bit higher, but yeah, let's see. The perfect scenario would be a touch here on this fair value gap here, the 4 hour, and yeah, probably inside one of the macros would be rejected here. That's what I would like to see. But looking at price right now, it has no bullish intention so far. So we are just moving straight down here, right at the open. And Q is doing the same. Let me just look at what not NQ, but YM is doing here. So YM is behaving the same way as well. So yeah, it's kind of a move to the downside as soon as we open. That's not part of my plan, but if price wants to do so, I have to accept it. Just let me take a look at the regular trading session here on NQ. Yeah, it really seems like price is kind of heavier here. So we smashed the midpoint of this opening range gap here, and we will probably head towards the close of it. So I will give it some time. I have no rush here to enter anything. So right now we are reaching for 25% of the opening range gap. Not the opening range gap, but the NWOG. But we have all these highs here, which are kind of suspicious for me. I will mark the first presented fair value gap as well. So let me just check here. Yeah, it's this tiny one. It's this small first presented fair value gap. But let's see. how price just behaves. Here we have the pre-market lows. NQ already took them out. NQ very heavy here. Yeah, so far, nothing that we can do here. So price is just displacing lower. No chance to engage with it. So we are just observing price, not forcing anything or not trying to engage with the first minutes of it. Yeah, so far we have some sort of an SMT here in between ESN and Q. So SMT right here. Price came for 25% of the opening of the new week opening gap. But yeah, since we are bearish, I need to see some sort of higher manipulation, and did not happen. So all these relative equal highs that you see here, I had the intention for price to do something like this first, eventually coming a little bit higher and then move towards new lows. But it seems like it made the opposite. Price just climbed down here, just grinded down. And yeah, I don't know if it will displace to the upside and eventually invert. But yeah, honestly, that's not part of the plan. We might have to probably wait for something a little bit cleaner. So I'm marking the 950 macro here just to see if we will have some sort of play inside the macro. So far, the bearishness is being respected here. Yeah, I'm looking at crypto now, and crypto seems like it's taking another hit here. Well, let's focus on what's need to be focused on. So we are still moving to the downside here. So this SMT makes no sense here. Seems like NQ might be the weakest one. But yeah, YM is also heading to the downside here. Well, in between NQ and YM, there's no big difference at all. Really nice move here from this fair value gap here. Price is kind of heavy since the open. So in fact, there's no opportunity still to engage with it. Let me take another look at the regular trading session hours. So at this point, I will mark this sell side liquidity point here. So RTH sell side liquidity. And I will see if this is enough for price to manipulate higher or if it will just continue lower. Let me just check how far NQ is from that point of liquidity. Yeah, it's kind of far away still. It's still about 280. Yeah, 280 handles away from it. But NQ is almost reaching for it. So I'm kind of curious now if we can reach it inside the macro. We will reach for midpoint of that NWOG as well. Let's see. It can happen that we do something like this inside the macro and start to attack all these pre-market highs. That would be interesting to see as well. And eventually London high too, because London highs, they have some confluence here, but the 4-hour bearish fair value gap here. So it would be a seek of liquidity from external to internal liquidity. But so far, a nice drop from 930 open straight down. Clean run to the downside. So 3 minutes before the open. Not before the open, I mean. 3 minutes for the macro to hit. So at this point, I'm kind of interested to see if we will have some sort of a inversion type of play. If price comes above these 3 candles here, I will consider this a bullish breaker, targeting relative equal highs here. It's not quite part of my plan because it was kind of bearish, and I honestly was expecting a manipulation higher before heading down. But no sort of buy side liquidity was taken, so there was nothing that we could work with on the downside because yeah, we didn't took any sort of buy side liquidity even on the regular trading hour, and even on, let me just check, but yeah, I guess NQ did not, yeah, it did not take any sort of buy side liquidity as well. So congrats if someone took this short, but honestly it doesn't fit the model, and the model needs to see some sort of liquidity being purged first. So now I want to see if this is, because price came for the midpoint, it kind of never touched the midpoint of this NWOG. It left some regular trading hour session sell side liquidity behind as well. So it seems like it's starting to fail to close above this quarter of the NWOG. So now I want to see if price has the ability to close above and seek for these relative equal highs, or if we will just drop further to seek this regular trading hour session liquidity point. So the first bullish PD array, which is here, is being inverted right now. We have another one right here, but it seems like we will head lower. We'll give it some time just to do its own thing here. Let me just check the 2 minute. Yeah, on the 2 minute, we are just trying to move above, and it seems like the 1 minute is respecting that. Nice reaction here from this bullish PD array. So yeah, it seems like we will target these relative equal highs, or at least the first presented fair value gap here. But I need to see price close above these candles here just to see a market structure shift. The only thing that I don't like here is, yeah, we formed another low both on NQ and ES, but on the regular trading hours, we needed to go a little bit lower both on NQ and ES. Let me just check YM. Yeah, same for YM. Hmm. But yeah, it seems like we will have a bullish setup here. Not part of a plan, engaging with something bullish here. So I will probably leave that. Yeah, I can see that my stream has a bit of delay. I don't know why. It usually doesn't have that much delay. But yeah, I'm sorry if you I'm just checking my my settings and everything is fine, but I don't know. So yeah, first presented fair value gap, as you can see here. So 950 is really delivering a not a retrace, but an inversion. So really nice push here. We kind of anticipated, but I don't like the fact that we didn't take out these regular trading hour session liquidity. So at this point, I might be expecting something like this, or eventually a bit higher towards London highs, and then a move lower. But there's no model here, as you can see, so there's no retrace inside of the breaker. We can consider this small candle here our bullish breaker. It kind of displaced above it, and yeah, it's a one-sided move. And for me, this is some. It seems like a manipulation, honestly. I don't know what to say about this, but I kind of anticipated the inversion, but mm, I'm kind of bearish, so engaging with longs here. I know that we still have these relative equal highs here, and this would be a good target and a low hanging fruit target, but I don't know. So ES really making a strong move to the upside. Let me just check. Let me see how the stocks are behaving here. Yeah, not the best scenario, but still observing. So we went for Sunday open. right at Sunday open here. It's trying to work below the first presented fair value gap. Let's see. Let me just check YM just to see how it is behaving. Yeah, YM is still trying to push price a little bit above. MNQ. So where is the first presented fair value gap is right here, I believe. It is. So we have the first presented fair value gap here on NQ as well. But yeah, yes, trying to invert the bearishness of the first presented fair value gap. I'm sorry about my camera. I really need to see what's going on with it. I don't know why it's not connecting well to the PC. Well, at this point, we are still observing. I guess longs was not part of the plan here on ES. I was kind of expecting a manipulation higher on the first minutes, and then a move lower, but it kind of made the opposite. It kind of manipulated lower, taking out the pre-marketed lows, and then displacing higher, forming some type of a unicorn model here. Not the best one because we didn't have any sort of retracement inside the breaker, so there's no form of entry for us. But even if it came a little bit below here or inside this fair value gap, I don't know if I would have taken the trade because yeah, my narrative is still bearish. And now we are rejecting Sunday open. We are rejecting 9:30 open for a bearish scenario. I really would like to see those relative equal highs being punished. So everybody who's selling and everybody who started to sell right at the open, they eventually placed their stops right here. So at this point, I would like to see them being punished. And then we could eventually move lower. So if we are still bearish, otherwise the market will try to seek for this 4-hour bearish fair value gap, and eventually these relative these highs from London high. At this point, I'm waiting for something like this, another push to the upside, enticing some more long players, because at this point they are just waiting for some sort of retrace, and they probably won't get it. So if price gives another shot to the upside, they will FOMO in, and then we can eventually displace lower and grab some more sell side liquidity, because on a regular trading session, we still have this one intact. And yeah, we didn't touch the midpoint of that NWOG as well. So let's see and give the market some time to develop the setup that we want to see. Otherwise, it will be a non-tradable day for us because nothing fits the narrative until now. Hello, Pablo. How you doing today? Nice to see you here, brother. Yeah, seems like they are preparing the market for Powell speech at lunch hour. Yeah, they might. I knew that we would have probably a New York AM session with a hard price action to read. We might probably get some seek and destroy action eventually. I don't know. But yeah, we will. We need to keep that in mind that we need a plus setup to engage in this type of environment. We can't just take a trade just because we see some relative equal highs or some sort of a draw on liquidity. We need to be prepared for a hard scenario, especially before the speech from Powell, because in the first minutes of the stream, I talked about what I was expecting. So I honestly was expecting something like this, a move higher, eventually triggering London highs and a touch here on the first on the 4 hour for Valley Gap, and then somewhere inside the macro, a displacement lower, just triggering these lows, the midpoint of that NWOG, and it kind of didn't happen. So yeah, we might be preparing the move for some later action. Otherwise, if we it can happen that price will just move to the upside, and that's good as well for me. But um, if that really happens, I will probably not make part of that move. So at this point, ES is really the strongest one. We took out some pre-market highs. We still have this one here, which I would like to see in being purged as well. So I will identify this as not a previous day low, but as pre-market highs. I will pre-market highs. Let me just save this one. Pre-market highs. So save this one. Yeah. So let's see if we will have some sort of inversion inside this this movement, or if we will continue higher. I was talking about when price was here, I was talking about another shot to the upside just to take out some liquidity here and just to entice some more players to get in. But at the same time, just let me take some sort of projection here just to see where we are in terms of price action. Interesting. Here, the -1 standard deviation right at pre-market highs. Yeah, and at the same time, market is presenting here some sort of an SMT in between ES and NQ. I will take these relative equal highs from here. Let's see. Let's see if price wants to hold here right at the opens as well and drive a bit higher. So you're expecting price to go down or seek and destroy until the speech. Yeah, you can eventually anticipate something like that. But at this point, I really would like to see it take out the pre-market highs on ES. It can be left out on NQ. I wouldn't mind that. That would confirm our SMT and then an inversion of this fair value gap. So it dropped down here and a move lower, losing 830 open and 930 open. But if it really holds here, we might expect some higher moves. So we are still waiting here. But at this point, it seems like price really wants to go for pre-market highs. This was kind of a shame that we didn't get any entry here. But I guess just an inversion of these bearish PD arrays isn't enough for me to get in, especially with the regular trading hour session sell side liquidity to be purged. But there we go. So pre-market highs are taken as well. So this was definitely a good run to the upside, especially on ES, since it seems like to be the strongest. And now let's see if we can maintain this move or if it will start to break down somehow. Yeah, ES still progressing to the upside here. Well, I guess too many of us were bearish today, so the market had to deliver um, the opposite. But it's fine. I don't mind to at least we kind of anticipated the possibility of this being an inversion. If you take my stream backwards, um, you will see that I talked about a possible inversion here, but since it was not part of my plan, I just decided to stay out of it. And yeah, for me personally, if ES would have taken this regular trading hour session sell side liquidity and touched the midpoint of the NWOG, well, that would be another story. But unfortunately, it didn't deliver the way I wanted. So but yeah, it was a nice move, I have to admit it. And price is still moving to the upside. Yes, at this point, I believe yes, we'll try to engage with London highs. On NQ, we still have some liquidity to be tapped. So two things can happen. ES will hold here for and wait for NQ, or it will just go higher to push NQ towards those pre-market highs. So something like that can eventually happen. So at this point, the macro ended as well. So since we are moving in a bullish way, and the next target for yes might be the 4-hour bearish fair value gap, I can eventually admit that this will be a macro to macro move. So um, we probably will still move higher towards this 4-hour fair value gap until 1050, and then 1050 might provide us some sort of a retrace lower, but I don't know. At this point, I need to see if this bullishness is maintained, or if we will just try a reversal from here. Just let me zoom out a little bit here. Yeah. So we kind of missed the whole move, or the main move. But yeah, we can't be trading every day. So if we try to interact with everything that we see, our account will get hurt. So yes, still moving here to the upside. Pushing NQ towards those relative equal highs, those pre-market highs. But there's still a stretch until London highs for NQ. We still have about 25 minutes before the next macro. the 1050 macro. Very nice run from ES. I mean, if we could have taken this entry here on the breaker, that would be about 40 handles, which is a lot for ES. Yeah, price almost reaching for the 4-hour fair value gap. Then I would like to see something happening. But it also can happen that nothing will happen and price will just wait for the Fed's speech. So that might also be a scenario, a possible scenario. So yeah, at this point we managed to reach for London highs. Yeah, this was really the manipulation, the Judas swing that ICT really talks about. It was a straight move to the downside. Then we had the inversion happening at 950 inside the macro. And yeah, it kind of delivered the opposite that we were expecting. At least I was expecting. I was expecting a manipulation higher and a delivery or a distribution lower. It really didn't happen. So um, at this point, there's nothing we can do. So we have just to watch price run. Let me just see how far we are from the opening range gap. So the closure and the opening. So we are at 50% of the opening range gap right now on ES. Let me just check M&Q. Yeah, I think we still have some room here. So what happened here? The close and the open. Yeah, we still have some room until the midpoint of the opening range gap here on in Q. So yeah. It turns out that we missed the big move here, but it's okay. I'd rather miss some sort of a move than being wrong um, and take a loss. At least we don't lose any money. But yeah, this setup was kind of clean here, but it would be kind of hard for me to enter. So at this point, we are reaching for the 4-hour fair value gap on ES. Now I need to see if this bearishness will maintain itself, or because right now, if price really starts to lose momentum and starts to weaken a little bit, it might offer some sort of a short move just to explore this wick that we left behind. It's still early to consider shorting this. We really need to see some weakness in price. Yeah, I agree with you, Pablo. It's better to stay patient, and if we don't want to engage with anything, we just have to accept it. It is what it is. I guess too many of us were bearish today. Too many. And I believe a lot of people try to short around here eventually. So the first touch on the 4-hour fair value gap is done, but I will rather wait for the macro just to play anything if we have the chance to. Oh, thank you. Thank you for saying that, that it seems organized and clean. Sometimes I feel like my charts have too much on them, but yeah, I think it's the first time that I'm hearing that it is kind of clean and organized. I like to work like this. I know that sometimes I have too much things on it, but I also believe that those things are the required ones. Okay, I can take somehow Sunday open out. It's not necessary for now. Eventually take this fair value gap out of here as well. But yeah, well, I tend to organize my charts like this and have it on a darker background, because if I have a white background, it kind of hurts my eyes. That's why I decided to go for a darker color scheme. And yeah, I decided to take out the reds from the bearish candles as well, because the red gives you some, at least for me, it gives me some sort of emotional reaction. All the redness, those big red candles. I kind of feel emotional when I see those candles. So in order to take that away from me, I decided to stay with a, not white, but I don't even know what color this is. Yeah, it's kind of white. Yeah, it's white with a um green border, I guess. And it kind of matches my logo as well. That's why I decided to stick with this color scheme. So at this point, I'm waiting for London on NQ. I need to see London highs being touched on NQ, and then we might have some sort of a retracement, because on higher time frames like the 15-minute, we still have some imbalances left behind. We left some imbalances behind, so it might be a tricky short, but it might happen, and it might probably work. I don't know. Yeah, still waiting here. Well, it might feel a bit frustrated to not to engage with a clean run of 70 handles, especially on ES. It doesn't happen every day. But yeah, it is what it is. It was not part of my plan, so I can't even bother to be upset with it. I was looking for something else here. Um, I was looking for this run, this part of the run, this one right here at the first minutes of the open. I was looking for it, and then I would assume something bearish. Yeah, but it kind of did the opposite, and the manipulation was kind of lower. I didn't believe that we would manipulate that harder. But at some point, I have to replay my session when Price was here because I want to see what and I need to rewatch what I was thinking when Price was dealing like this. I believe I assumed that we could eventually attack these relative equal highs here, but was kind of skeptical because my mind bias was kind of bearish. But yeah, nothing that we can eventually do right now. So at this point, we have still 9 minutes before the next macro. So at this point, I'm just curious to see. I will not force anything because we are inside of a distribution. So whenever you see yourself inside of a bullish distribution and try to look for shorts, you have to admit that's not the best choice. So at this point, I'm kind of skeptical on shorts as well, but let's see. So price now trying to get inside of the 4-hour fair value gap, the bearish 4-hour fair value gap. According to our Fibonacci projection, we are reaching for -2. We can go a little bit higher. -2.5 standard deviation would be acceptable as well. But yeah, let's see if we can go a little bit higher. And eventually, as soon as we reach for the midpoint of the bearish 4-hour fair value gap, or eventually -2.5 standard deviation, we could eventually see a retrace. But at this point, I'm kind of skeptical about it as well, because it can eventually offer us um some sort of a retrace, but it will probably be very quick, and it will not leave us many minutes to engage with. Let me just confirm that we already hit buy side liquidity. Yeah, we didn't. We didn't touch London highs on NQ, so we might as well have some more upside moves to go on AS, or it will just hold here and wait for some sort of bullish movement from NQ. Yeah, still pushing here, approaching the 10-50 macro. So this will definitely be a macro to macro move. Usually on distribution phases, we see these types of movements happening quite a while. These macro to macro moves. But yeah, today was not a day for us to engage with its distribution move. So it seems like price is stopping here. But I'm not sure about a retrace yet. Seems like NQ still has some liquidity above those London highs, I believe. Let me just go to MNQ. Yeah, midpoint of the opening range gap is not reached. Yeah, and we kind of missed these highs. these are the London highs on NQ, and we kind of missed them for four handles. Interesting to see. Yeah, I will definitely wait for another push to the upside here, especially on NQ. And we might even not get that short. Price may start to just accumulate a little bit more or consolidate. There's no bullish fair value gap here on, especially on ES. Let's see if this is some sort of a follow through here to the downside, or just a reach for a 15-minute imbalance. Because NQ still has London highs to take. NQ already took out this low here. Let's see. Let's see if this is just another move to the upside where this bearish one will get inverted. Seems like it. Because we have an SMT here in between ES and NQ. So SMT followed by, it's not displacement, but I don't know. I think we will probably accumulate a little bit here, especially on ES, because ES already took out London highs. If we are really bullish, we will probably seek for these highs as well. Just let me take a look at the regular trading hours. Yeah, this is a tricky spot here. Yeah, it seems like it wants to retrace lower here. The bearishness of this fair value gap is being respected. But I don't know. I don't feel like it's a good momentum. Yeah. See. So no momentum here that we can take advantage of. Yeah, still waiting here. Even for longs, it seems like it's kind of late. It's kind of late for longs. Sorry about the camera. I really have to fix this issue. I don't know why the camera is always disconnecting. See, there's price is just I believe we will probably or consolidate around here in a diagonal shape, or eventually price will continue to move higher because the downside is not being respected right now. There's nothing bearish here that's being respected. And looking at NQ still has to purge London highs, so it has some upwards momentum to deliver. So for now, the 1050 macro is giving us some sort of a continuation to the upside. But I'm not falling in love with this continuation as well, because price already, it did not hit -2 standard deviation, but it's quite near the -2 standard deviation, or -2.5, and these 2 points are points where price tends to retrace as soon as it hits those points. So taking a long here, I don't know. I feel like price can eventually consolidate in some sort of a diagonal shape, but I'm not sure about it. And I really would like to see NQ take out London highs. Then we could eventually expect something bearish after NQ take out London highs. Until there, I can't be bearish. So nice movement here to the upside on AS. So at this point, this is a inverted fair value gap here. As you can see, price took some time to work on this inversion, but so far is working. And price reached now -2 standard deviation from the projection that we took out from the last manipulation leg. we are trading inside of a bearish 4-hour fair value gap as well. I mean, we have two, a bigger one and a smaller one. And right now we are inside a smaller one and reaching for its midpoint while we are reaching for the first quarter of the second one. You can see those in here on the 4-hour time frame. I don't know why, but Topstep lately has been lagging a bit, especially when I try to move from time frame to time frame. So let me just see. It's lagging on the 4-hour chart, and I can't understand why. So yeah, I would like to show it to you, but it's not working. So it is what it is. So another move to the upside. And we are just observing. So I guess I was caught off guard here in this bullish momentum. I was expecting somehow lower prices, but turns out that we manipulated to the downside. It was not part of our plan, our trading plan, so could not interact with it. And honestly, my model needs a retrace. I kind of identified the bearish, the bullish breaker, but it needs a retrace into it, and it never gave us that entry. So so now NQ took out London highs. Let's see if we will have some sort of reaction here. Probably saying sniper's watch. Yeah, Pablo, it's time to watch the market with a sniper rifle right now, because we hit London highs, so some reaction can happen right now. And we reached for the midpoint of the 4-hour fair value gap on ES as well. But yeah, taking a short here, I would advise you to take some profits as soon as you can, because you are inside of a distribution leg. As you can see, if you look into the 15 minutes, and now things are a bit more cleaner. There was a accumulation. Then the big red candle is the manipulation leg, and all this is distribution. So we can go eventually higher here. So keep that in mind. That's why I'm kind of skeptical with shorts now. But this is what I was expecting since the open. Some sort of a reaction inside of these bearish PD arrays. Let me switch to a higher time frame here just to see if this is just a smaller retrace, or if we will eventually move a little bit lower, eventually targeting these lows here. I don't know. Let's wait. So let me check if NQ already reached for the midpoint of, yeah, it reached for London highs. It didn't reach for the midpoint of the opening range gap. So it can give us another boot to the upside just to reach for it. Meanwhile, let me just check how the Dow is doing. Yeah, the Dow clearly cleaned London highs and it closed the opening range gap here. Yeah, so far nothing. Nothing that we can work with. And it might stay like this, honestly. We will have Powell speaking in about 1 hour. So this might end up being a consolidation here until Powell speaks. Let me just check. Just check here. So this might be the inverted fair value gap. on ES. But honestly, as I was saying, I'm expecting something like this. Probably until the Fed is speaking. So I'm not that convinced about a short position here. It might work. It might work, but something like this may as well happen. So taking out these lows and then regrouping once again to the upside. Yeah, it has no momentum to the downside. So I guess there's nothing that we can work with, at least until the Fed speaks. See, price is still holding here. It will be somehow of a upwards accumulation, and I don't like to be part of shorts like these. It can cost you a lot of mental capital, and I'm not in the mood to waste my mental capital on that. It seems like some momentum is being printed now. I just wouldn't like to see us taking out these lows directly. Yeah. Q still pushing. Yeah, I can see a lot of people trying to short here, trying to force anything short. Oh well. Yeah, it seems like we will have nothing to work with until the Fed is speaking. So we have to accept that we didn't take anything during New York AM. We were kind of offside here on what was happening on the market. I was expecting a move higher, a manipulation higher, and a move down, and it kind of manipulated lower and distribute higher. So this was not part of the plan. I kind of recognized in a possible inversion when we were trading down here, and it really happened. The inversion really happened inside the macro, as you can see here. So this was a macro to macro move, which is quite expectable when you are inside of a distribution phase. So macro to macro, and even everybody who's tried to short this, they just got burned out and eventually took their stop loss. Resuming the day, it was just like this. We were caught offside in this distribution higher to this 4-hour fair value gap, bearish fair value gap. This was not my initial bias or idea. My initial bias was market to trade higher in the first minutes of the open, taking out pre-market highs, and eventually reach for London highs as well, and then move lower. And yeah, the opposite kind of happened. And that's why I did not engage with anything, because I was not prepared for a move like this. To be honest, I was not prepared. My plan B was not engaged with this type of move. So that's why I decided to stay off and just saw the market and just watched the market move higher without getting in touch with it. But yes, the only thing that I would have engaged with would be if this would have been part of the plan, I would have engaged probably in something around here, but I'm not sure, because at this point all these inefficiencies were left open. There was no retrace, so the only possible entry was for me was to engage with one of these green candles, and I usually don't like to engage in these big green candles because that would obligate me to put my stop, I don't know where, honestly. If I had to enter somewhere near the breaker, I would have to put my stop somewhere around here. And yeah, that I would probably took out the majority of the position at these pre-market highs, leaving a runner, or eventually here at the open as well. So in terms of risk to reward, it was not that good of a position. It would not be a good position in terms of risk to reward. Only if I admitted that we would go for London highs, that would turn out to be a 3.5 hour trade, but without taking any partials, of course. So yeah, guys, at this point, I think I'm done. I don't believe we will retrace lower, even with this kind of displacement here. I still believe we will probably engage with a accumulation here. It seems like that. If you look into the 15-minute prices, you're around for about 15, 30, 45. It's been almost an hour already since price is around this level. Yeah, it's been an hour already. So it might give us that smaller retrace towards these lows, but this is not enough for me to engage with price. I really need to see some larger moves to the downside, because right now we are inside of a bullish distribution, and bullish distribution they often just offer smaller retraces, so you can't expect a large retrace inside of a bullish distribution like this. So it might give us that retrace that we want to until these lows, but you cannot expect a large retrace inside a bullish distribution. So that's why I'm skeptical to short this. And yeah, that's it, guys. I think I will end the stream here. So we just have to accept that sometimes it is not possible for us to engage with price action, and that's normal, and that's a trader's job as well. So yeah, thank you very much for being there. My camera is shutting off already as well. But yeah, thank you very much for being there. Probably tomorrow will be a better day. Stay safe about the Fed speech as well. See, price reacting once again here. stay safe, and yeah, keep grinding and keep studying, because we are learning every day. Okay, Pablo, thank you very much for being there. Hope to see you tomorrow as well. And yeah, tomorrow will be another day. So stay safe, bro. I hope to see you tomorrow once again. Thank you.